Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Jonathan Kinchin and Andy Serling. These are working, right? I don't hear anything. I'm not hearing any sound in the backyard.
I hear you a little bit. I hear
Okay,
us.
there we go. All right. Anyway, good morning, everyone. He's Jonathan Kinchin. I'm Andy Serling, and it is Friday, July 11th, race number 2. We are off the turf except for race 7. Uh, that was one of the craziest storms, and I've seen some crazier. The hail. Did you see the hail? I mean, I went out, left my place after it stopped raining, go to my mom's, and there was like dime-sized hail covering every yard around. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was wild. I had an outdoor reservation that was postponed a little bit. We eventually got there, but it was
It
postponed.
stopped pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but
it was quick and furious. Someone was still here. They sent me a picture of like over by the path. It was just like inches and inches of water. I mean, it happened very
It
quickly.
was crazy,
Yeah.
and idiot that I am, Nick Santagata stopped to offer me a ride to my mom's house, and I, tough guy that I am, said, I'm good. It's only a couple blocks away, and as I was wading through a sea. The entire back alley was flooded. I thought, yeah, that was one of my dumber decisions, a lifetime of dumb decisions. That was up there and there, but here we are. And I also want to say I do appreciate and get people's frustration about the turf. We're horse players. We were horse players before we came to work here. It is frustrating, and I appreciate how much people care. It's frustrating, and I get it. I really do.
It's a
It's a tough situation.
yeah, it's tough decisions, right? It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I just don't let it bother me. It's going to happen. We know, and it's not going to be the last time this happens for the meet. I hate to
I think
break
it
it
was
to you.
day 33. The decision might have been a little bit different, but on day 2, decision we made, and it's a very unfortunate situation. But we're doing the best we can, and like I said, I can appreciate your frustration, but we appreciate your support as well. Let's head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime through Naira Bets.
A little deterministic. We updated that slate, huh?
Yes, it is.
It's one of my favorite horses in training now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Nice to see. Wearing Vinny Viola's silks. Vinny, of course, I think he'll bring the Stanley Cup here again. That was awesome.
And
Such a good
how
guy.
about us is racing doing so well in professional sports? Everett Dobson, obviously, with
Yep.
the Thunder winning. We just need who owns a good NFL team that has horses? Anyone?
I don't know what a good NFL team is. I know Kansas City seems to do every year. How about baseball? A lot of baseball, it used to be. I mean, Steinbrenner, obviously a big owner. Peter Angelos owned horses for years as well. I think we've had a number of owners as well. I think Stevie Cohen at times may have had some involvement. So
There
we
we go.
need that too.
Yeah.
Well, we need the Mets to win the World Series. Then we'll discuss him coming and bring the
Yeah,
trophy.
there we go.
And baseball players. I mean, when I was a kid, the number of baseball players. When I first started going to Belmont in the summer of '79, when I went more regularly when I was in the city, I remember I was talking to my friend Joe Cardello on the 3rd floor, and Mickey Rivers comes over. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Mickey Rivers, and he's asking for horses and whatever. Mickey was pretty well-known horse player. And he left, and I went, Joe, it's Mickey Rivers. He's like, yeah, he's here every day. He's like, he's always here. Anyway, where else we got here? Pick 6 carryover, 118,028 on the line. That starts in race number 5. We'll talk about that, of course, on today's show. Don't think there's any massive singles in the sequence. We'll see how that plays. I think Rhetorical would have been in race number 9.
Certainly.
That changed, obviously, off the turf. What else do we have, Eddie? We have the Saturday contest, until post time tomorrow, $300 contest. Must play it through Naira Bets. Cash and seat prizes. You can register up until post time. Get all the info at nairabets.com/contest. I think you still may have until post time today to sign up for today's $40 feeder contest as well. $10,000 hit and split between Saratoga and Colonial. That's on their late pick 5 here and there. Always want to opt in and play that. I have a lot of friends who've done very, very well with those, and make sure you opt in for that. I don't know what Peter Brandt horse that is, but those are Peter Silks. Cross Country Big 5. Eddie is all in, 2 at Monmouth, 3 here. We also want to mention the Taste of New York Pavilion, which is Thursday through Sunday over by Gate A. A lot of fun over there. Check that out. Fun for everyone. It's not a bad thing to taste a little of the canned cocktails, beers, wines. The granola and the ice cream, but focus, all sorts of good stuff made in New York State. And last but not least, we are on from 1 to 2:30 on FS2. We come on at 6 to 6:30. I understand there are going to be some frustrating Fridays here where our coverage, I think it's 5 of them, is fairly limited. We apologize for that. We will, though, be on YouTube. And the entire show is always on YouTube at the Naira YouTube channel. Not hard to find. Just go to YouTube and plug in Naira. It's so easy, even Jonathan and I can do it, and we're idiots. So if we can do it, you can do it. And, you know, I get it, and most people can stream YouTube on their TV as well. I get their frustration, and once again, your frustration is born out of support for our show, and we can appreciate it as well. It's just one of those things, but you can watch it on YouTube, and of course, Naira Bets as well. Race number 1. I'm putting my streak on the line. I'm 1 for 1 with Gary Siaka this year. Now, the other one paid a big enough price that my ROI is going to remain high as this one, and I guess David is right, as he always is, that he's going to be favored. I wondered how short BD Saints would be. I have some issues as to whether or not he's still that competitive, but he gets IRAD, and I'm sure that's a function, and if he can run anywhere close to quite a few of his races, he's going to win. And at the end of the day, as we show Solo Empire and Golden Purchase, I think this is a perfect race to show for Golden Purchase, because this is the flaw of Golden Purchase, and I respect off the claim for Bruce Levine, but he is a horse that has a problem finishing first in races, even though he did it 2 back.
No, I mean, the thing with Golden Purchase that allowed me to have some confidence is that, you know, one of the things I have to remember when we come up here is that because most of the mile plus races are at 1 mile and an 8, there's a lot of horses that don't really want to go that far. You know, we don't use the Wilton Chute that much to get them around the mile. So when horses
using the Wilson Chute for off the turf races, by
right,
the way.
right.
And 2-year-old races go to 7 furlongs starting this year as well. The route races, letting people know.
And yesterday was a reminder when Marshall's horse won that maiden race.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Lobby
Painful.
Rendezvous. Is that
Do you know Nick Tamro named that horse?
Did he?
He did.
That's a good one.
He told me right after the race, right after I bet the second horse, and I told him to shut up.
It's just a reminder that horses that run well at 9 furlongs need to get upgraded when they're facing horses that maybe don't want to go that far. And to me, Golden Purchase is one of those horses that I at least know he's going to run well enough going 9 furlongs, where it's a question for a majority of the rest
Yeah,
of
I
them.
mean, I think this race is more about the kind of opinions we have. Either you think the 3 is the best horse, or you just don't want any part of him at a short price. You've taken the latter opinion. I've taken the former, and I have no problem with the latter opinion. I just didn't really want anybody else in here. But then again, the speed might be Solo Empire, though I can't imagine Irad is going to give it up too easily to Flavian. And let me tell you something. I know Flavian won the first 3 races, and I'm curious who somebody would make the favorite, and you could weigh in on the jockey title. Irad, Flavian may win, but one thing about Irad, he's not going down easy.
I don't know. I still think Irad has so much business across all platforms here that he has an edge in that arena. Flavian obviously has had a lot of success. It's not like anyone's going to be like not happy to have Flavian. But, you know, I wonder if like Irad rides a lot more cheap horses. I mean, Flavian rides a lot too, but I just feel like Irad's going to have a better connection in New York to
I wouldn't quite compare it to this, but I think there's some relevance to saying that, like, I remember my old boss, who was a big bettor. I used to say, why are the Bulls favored again in this series? And he said, the Bulls and Michael will be favored in every series they're in until they lose. And it's a valid point. And in a way with Irad, and he's won, what, 8 or 9 of the last 10. I guess Luis won 1 year, and his brother and Jose won. Irad's going to be the favorite until that streak gets broken.
Yeah.
It may be close, but I agree. I think Irad was the favorite, though. Watching the first 3 races yesterday, you started to feel like it's quite a juggernaut. It'll be interesting with these 2 horses both being forward in here. I just can't take Golden Purchase, a horse that's 2 for 51, and I've seen him hang way too many times. Race number 2, and I know they have the track sealed right now, but my guess is that will be opened up and fast by post time. Race number 2. All right, race number 2. Let's show the horse you have on top. We're going to show his race 2 back on May 11th at Churchill, finishing second, the race that Rick Dutrow claimed him out of. I've got him second. You've got him on top.
Yeah, it's just one that, you know, looking at his last race going 7 furlongs, and we both look at Timeform US, and I like to look at the pace figures of those types of races. And when a horse runs fast but slows down a little bit late going 7, they're perfect candidates for cutting back. This horse feels like a horse that's going to improve second time for Rick Dutrow. I like the draw. This horse runs well in the clear. He has in the race that we just showed the replay. He was kind of stalking outside. I just think this horse is going to get the best trip.
I have no problem with him. I just stood him second, the number 6 horse, so I thought would be a little bit more forward. I know it brings the rider from out of town. The horse did not run well last time. There's no doubt about it. I watched the race. I couldn't come up with any real excuse for it. They may have given up a little bit late, but really didn't have any run. Now I think the race 2 back is good enough, and I was just looking at it and thinking, why would this trainer ship this horse all the way up here if he thinks he's going to run back to his last race? And this horse does have a plethora of races that make him extremely competitive in here. And I just thought he was a little bit more forward in what likely will be a race where the one Peak of Chic and Bedtime Story are the two speeds.
Yeah, I mean, if this horse can run that race 2 back, that profile, that speed from this post against this group could be dangerous. And I'm sure this is your concern that you had, but at 4-1, you'll pay to find out.
Right.
I'm not crazy about this horse away from Brittany Russell. You feel like
I think that's a very fair argument. Ran well first time again away from Brittany. It was 5 weeks later, but this horse's form could be falling apart. Why would the guy ship the horse all the way up if he can't run anymore? I don't think anybody here is claiming this horse for 50.
So we had this question the other day too about why would someone ship a horse up here, and that I do think that you are more likely to get a horse claimed here than other places because it is a claimathon.
I agree, but this horse ran for 42 back. Maybe the feeling is that there's a legend, if you look over there in that purple shirt, walking very quickly up front. The great Pete Macheska coming into the track, ignoring us completely. I'll torture him later. This horse was claimed for 40, and I believe ran back for 40. Maybe the feeling is that maybe somebody might want to buy this horse, if not claim for 50. So we'll see what happens in here. The 1 and 3 figure they're forward. You've got the 1 second. I've got this horse third. I thought this horse is dangerous here.
I just wish the last race. I didn't like the last race. Got a huge setup. You know, that was my concern. But if the race 2 and 3 back, right in the mix.
But the horse breaks well and gets out. Could be the main speed with the 3 on the flank. We'll see what happens.
How do you feel like the racetrack plays after what we saw yesterday?
Well, first of all, I thought the track was absolutely fair yesterday. The interesting thing was how slow it was. And I wonder if that's a function of, they thought rain might come. They didn't water as much. I don't really know. I didn't ask Glenn. I don't know. I wasn't here, but I'm guessing Glenn had the track sealed before that storm came in. So I don't know how much effect a very hard rain with a sealed track like that with nobody running over it and a lot of time. So I imagine it won't affect things. It might be that there's a little more moisture in it just from that might help speed the track up a little bit. But once again, trying to guess how racetracks are going to play before a day,
dangerous.
You get yourself in a lot of trouble doing that, and it's always better to watch and determine from there. But for the most part, pretty fair. Race number 3, going 1 1/8 again. I'm curious what you did in here. You've gone to the number 4, Pineapple Man, who does appear to be the speed.
Yeah.
I have trouble trusting him and getting the distance with him, though I have him second.
Yeah, I'm
Trust is
contradicting.
a problem in this entire race.
Yeah, I'm contradicting what I said a little bit earlier about identifying horses that are going to appreciate the 9 furlongs, but I'm a sucker for a horse that I think could end up getting a great trip and being forward and even possibly making the lead. The one thing I'll say, and I'm also a sucker for key races to a certain extent, right? 4 horses won out of that last race for Pineapple Man, which makes me feel like he ran well enough in there.
That field was like a stakes race compared to what he's running against today.
Yeah, absolutely, and I just felt like he was going to work out the best trip, and that the 1 would probably be a little bit overbet, although we know that horse is going to appreciate the distance.
Yeah, I have some concerns about the distance, and I also feel like Javier's got to be a little bit aggressive with incantation, especially in the outside post, and how much pressure he's going to put on him. Listen, you look at the line in this race, 5-2 to 5-1 and 6 horses. So David's making a claim that he's saying this is going to be a very, very closely bet race. I'm going to do, he always does his best, and he's usually right in these situations. I'll tell you the horse I'm not thrilled with, and you and I have the same opinion, is the horse he has favored, Eric from Miami. First of all, this horse wins when he is in extremely hungry fields, and, the numbers don't lie. I want to see Wayne Potts win some races up here. I think he's 3 for around 80-something at Saratoga over the last 5 years. And I kind of want to see him win some races, especially before I take a horse of his that's a short price. If he's 8-1 and you think they can win, it doesn't matter what his numbers say. You have to bet them. But I do think when they're short prices, the numbers matter.
Yeah, and he won last time in a nominators of 3.
Claim from Rick Dutrow.
Yeah, it's a 6-horse field, so he ended up probably in our 4th because we needed to put someone there.
I agree with that. And by the way, we're very happy that Christopher Elliott will be riding him. He was cleared to ride. After he got thrown yesterday, he had some issues, went to the hospital, but totally cleared, and we're thrilled to have him back. I got to tell you something. That kid can ride. He's going to lose his bug soon, and it's going to make things difficult. And whether he ends up staying here permanently or going somewhere else, that kid can ride. And one of the reasons I say it is not because I like his agent Jose Santos, because I'm much happier making fun of his riders than him. Watching him improve since he came to New York, he has really improved a lot, and I can respect him as a rider.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
a
mean,
hard move to make from apprentice to journeyman, but he's got real
especially
potential.
and here it's tough as well.
Yeah. Swift Magic, who you have third, I have questions about him getting the distance. There's absolutely no question about it. I like this horse. I feel like his best races, and this is him on April 11th, his race 3 races back when he finished second to Buddha. And he has been running against horses that are just better than these. I think he can be somewhat forwardly placed in here. And George's Barn, George's horses are running. A nice winner for our friend Reagan yesterday. A nice win and a deserved win for a good man, but also a very impressive 2-year-old yesterday. But I'm going to hope he can get the distance. But I got to tell you something. Distance is a real question here. And I know Eric from Miami can get it, but I don't really care.
And it feels like George is, and I'm not saying this like disparagingly, it feels like he's just kind of guessing with this, trying to figure this horse out, right?
I agree.
He's turf sprinted him, then he's tried him a little bit longer on the dirt, then he tried him on the turf again, and I think he's trying to figure him out, and I think I'll wait until he figures him out.
And he's a New York bred non-winners of 1, so you don't want to just drop him at this point. And he's got races that are competitive. I prefer him in this race in what is a very, very competitive third race. Race number 4 off the turf. Now listen, I don't know the reason all these horses got scratched. And maybe they're sick, maybe they're vet scratches, but Nolita, Racing Colors, and Malu, horses that would have been probably at 3 of the first 4 choices coming out as MTOs. I got to tell you, unless it's sick and they're vet scratches, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and they all
3 of the 6 MTOs came out of this race. Come on. That annoys me more than the race coming off the turf.
It would have been a very compelling race too with those.
It was a better race off the turf, actually, I say, than it was on the turf,
Yeah.
where it was going to be 5 because Snowy Evening was going to scratch. She had a bit of an eye injury. Thanks to Dominic Scatino for leaving Burn Again in. I don't blame him. And the truth is, as we take a look at Army Gal, and this is last 2 races back, finishing second, there is a real concern whether or not this horse wants any part of a mile. And maybe Walk With Me will end up wiring the field, but that horse took advantage of a gold rail last time out. And I'm not thrilled, but I didn't pick against her.
Yeah, I just felt like in a small, compact field, the pace doesn't have to be all that fast. The 9 is just better. I felt like they would find a way. You don't have to worry about some big closer coming. The 9 just has to beat the 10.
I think, yeah. I mean, Carmen's Candy Jar, by the way, I believe is entered on Wednesday, so I'm guessing that's why she's scratched, because she's one that people might look, but at least she's entered relatively soon. I agree. I don't love Army Gal getting the distance, but I agree. I mean, listen, I liked Racing Colors in this race. Now, there must be something wrong, because I can't believe they would scratch this horse. I thought this was going to finally be her day in here. It's not a lot to say, except I just cannot believe that all these horses scratched out of the MTOs. Race number 5 kicks off the pick 6 at 7 furlongs, and I'm gonna live and die with the speed in here. The 2 Madeline's Promise, who will look at breaking her maiden at Gulfstream, and I think it's very reasonable to say that she has some distance limit, some stamina limitations, and I'm not overly confident, but I just thought she would be clear on the front end, and I'm going to try to wire the field with Madeline's Promise.
I wanted to. I just was disappointed in she's made the lead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row, and she's only won once. So she clearly wants to be forward, but she hasn't found only but 1 trip. And she's not just running second or third; she's getting smoked, which is the problem for me.
Yeah, I agree. That's very fair. Very fair.
That was the hardest part for me.
You have the number 4 Low Key on top, and you're just sucking up to Amos because you're on the show with him.
Yeah.
See, I take the different approach. I want to pick against his horses and make fun of him.
Oh,
You're way too nice.
I felt bad for him. He almost fell yesterday. The chair rolled out from under him. I was worried about my man.
Almost. Don't tease me like that. Could he have fallen on the air so we could have watched the video and really laughed at him?
Yeah, he's a good sport. He's a good sport.
Great sport.
Yeah.
That's why he's so much fun to make fun of. For a variety of reasons. Okay, talk about Low Key.
Yeah, it's just more of a, I don't trust the other ones, and I defaulted there. And, I think Tom, and this is not us kissing up. I think we both respect him as a horseman.
Guy's won 4,200 races.
And the fact that he even thought for a second it made sense to run this horse in the Virginia Oaks, there's obviously some ability there off of that win. There was a little bit of a setup that day, so that the pace kind of fell apart.
That's my problem.
That would be the problem. But with a little time off, kind of a resetting, horse has been training. That's why I ended up landing on the 4, getting Lasix.
I think if you don't like the speed of the 2, a lot of horses can win in here. Always Practical can win second off the claim for Linda, though I did not like her race off the claim.
Yeah, I don't like horses that don't have speed that are drawn inside.
Should we be more scared than we are of the 3 Ragtime Sizzle, given that incredible form reversal off the claim for Ilke Cantermacha yesterday? That was wild. I mean, first of all, that horse never had speed. Second of all, that horse didn't have a single race that I thought made the horse remotely competitive. Went after the Majestic horse for the whole way, never looked like a loser, and destroyed the field.
Yeah.
So should we be keeping an eye on Ilke off the claim?
Well,
That was quite a move up. And that horse was running for 10,000, and now this horse is moving way up too. I don't like this horse in the PPs, but after that, I'm going to start paying attention.
This feels like a situation where Ilke wanted to run the horse, and he didn't want to lose the horse, and this is like the only way he could run the horse and not lose the horse when he wanted to run the horse. That makes sense. I just don't. That's a big jump. The horse was
a
the
big
favorite
jump yesterday too.
Yeah, but this horse was a favorite with a setup in a $20,000.
I don't like this horse.
Yeah.
I agree. On paper, this horse looks like a no-hoper.
Yeah.
I agree. What about Lady Orient, who I have second, and the other one? See, this is the Tom one that I preferred, because I think if you isolate her dirt races, I thought she was a little bit better than Low Key. That's why I had her second, but you obviously disagree.
Yeah,
It's okay.
She doesn't break well. You look through her races, she's got 3 or 4 times where she breaks a little slow. I wasn't passionately against her. I just preferred the others.
Okay, we'll see what happens as she faced some pretty good horses, including Mohima, who at the time looked like she was going to be good. That is the first 5, and it kicks off our pick 6 with the carryover 118,000. We'll be back after a quick break with the late pick 5.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Jonathan Kinchin and Andy Serling. Race 6 off the turf, and I'd like to thank all the connections in here, because unlike the other race, basically everyone stayed in. We didn't lose a single betting interest. There are not a lot, besides British Invasion, they're not really Eurobreds, particularly in here. And you and I have both gone to the number 5, Epic Desire.
Yeah, I mean, the horse was bet on debut at Keeneland. Obviously has...
Was she bet that strongly to be 3-1 for Todd at Keeneland?
Well, there's probably some Wesley monster in there, I'm guessing.
There
that
usually
was
are.
4 to 5 or 3 to 5.
Horse is a full 2?
Adair Manor.
Correct.
So there's obviously a little bit of dirt there. It's Uncle Mo. He liked the dirt.
Yet he entered on the turf. I agree. I put this one in rather than guess who might handle it. I have some concerns. I watched the race, and I got to tell you something. After breaking a bit slow, Johnny tried hard on this horse. This horse did absolutely no running in there, and that concerns me a little bit. But like you, I prefer a horse who at least has the dirt experience to a lot of horses that were entered on the turf. Now, it's interesting the number 3, Dr. Agne, stays in, and we'll take a look at his dam. Winning, this was actually her last career win. winning the Boston Spa here in 2017, which also was her first loss when she came back off the injury and layoff. And I mean, how can you not want an opportunity to see a little Lady Eli getting it done here? Her final start, the Breeders' Cup, she didn't run well, but this was her penultimate start and her final victory. Such a terrific horse. Do you wonder with Cherie leaving this horse in if it makes you think that he might need a race? And this horse, an Into Mischief from Lady Eli, sold for only $185,000. That surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's, maybe she's not, or he's not.
It's her first foal to run in America.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that definitely is an interesting price. To answer your question, though, I would think that this horse probably means a lot to her, with her connection with Lady Eli. And actually, we talked about that during Cart Talk. I didn't make the final edit, but just like this is the doctor that she felt like was responsible for helping Lady Eli survive her laminitis scare. So it's a great name
I
horse
assume
as
that's
well.
what it was.
Yeah. And I think that it's a horse that, Cherie will run a horse on the dirt to get them ready to run on the turf. It's not a move that she'll use often. So I think probably just give him some experience, run him around there, and then find him in the turf a little bit later this summer.
Also, interestingly enough, is an Into Mischief, who's not a bad turf stallion, but he's a better dirt stallion. And, I mean, Lady Eli is a Divine Park. So it's not as though there isn't plenty of dirt pedigree. Do you know who finished second to Divine Park when he won the Met Mile?
I don't.
A great horse that just died.
Which one?
Commentator.
Really?
Yep. Commentator was second to Divine Park in the Met Mile, much to my chagrin. Yeah, I think it's interesting this horse staying in. And I also think, though, for betting this race, this horse is going to take a lot of attention and is probably a horse that you want to bet against.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I have the horse third. Cherie leaving him in is just a little bit of a confidence boost that I wanted to have. I would hate for Lady Eli's son to beat me out of the pick six. That would probably keep me up at night.
I would hate for anybody to beat me out of pick six. You're narrowing it down to only the breeding.
That's true. But yeah, definitely going to be overbet.
Yeah, I left the 4 A Million Dreams second because I figured if that horse were to stay in for Kevin Rice, and even though there's a half to 2 turf winners, by my standards, is not a stallion that you're expecting to be a particularly effective turf stallion. Every time Kevin Rice comes here, I'm not going to let that guy beat me. All those Rices are dangerous.
Yeah, no, I wish Jose was riding. I feel like he goes to Jose when he's got a good one.
That's interesting. Well, Jose Lozcano does ride a lot of horses for them, and probably Jose was committed to be riding for Cherie on the Lady Eli, so
Yeah.
that I think explains that a little bit more. What about George Weaver's horse, Jet Off? I mean, this is not a big turf pedigree.
No, I mean, Twirling Candy, I think, is one of the
Can
most
do anything.
versatile
Yeah.
stallions out there.
Excellent.
But the one thing I liked about Jet Off is this horse is a half to a horse called Camera, who, when Ways and Means, the summer before Ways and Means ran, I had heard that
She was
Ways
the
and Means was
biggest heavily bet 2-year-old.
and Camera was the other one.
Turned
Camera
out
was
she was
the
a
top.
total phony.
She did, but she obviously showed something in the morning, had some ability. She just couldn't put it all together. So that makes me feel like there's a little bit of pedigree there, even though she never turned out to be a very good horse. I think Jet Off can handle the dirt. I think George's success with 2-year-olds the last couple of years has been sensational, and I just think this horse is going to be ready to run.
A horse that scares me in here is Helio. I know that Bill entered this horse to run on the turf, and there is a turf work, and maybe the horse worked really well on the turf. This is a pedigree that screams dirt. It's really all dirt. So I thought this horse a little bit interesting. Helio on the outside. We'll see what happens. 7 furlongs, by the way. The 2-year-old 2-turn turf races will go to 7 furlongs this year as opposed to a mile. The olders will go to a mile. Race number 7, we are on the turf in the Coronation Cup. Coronation Cup's dam, Glowing Tribute, won the 1976, I believe, Diana. And she's got Wild Applause and Sea Hero, who's out in the paddock. And Coronation Cup, she's one of the great dams of a lifetime. I loved her. I think Pat Day rode her, actually. I didn't hold that against her. It wasn't her fault. Let's start with Make Haste on the inside, who I have on top and you have second. Winning last time, I just think she's a massive threat to wire the field. There's not a lot of speed in here, Jonathan.
No, I mean, and she's drawn well where you'd think Flavian, in the aggressive way that he goes, will take advantage of that. I will say this, though, that I do believe that there is such a massive difference between 5 furlongs at Gulfstream Park and 5.5 here. I know it's a half furlong, but it's
There's between 5
significant.
furlongs down there and 5 furlongs anywhere else.
Yeah, it is an
That's fair.
absolute track meet down there. And so sometimes I take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but I have no problem. She's not beating me in the pick 6 either.
Right. The thing is, when Chloe beat her, and we'll take a look at Chloe running. Which race is this? This is
The Melody
3
of,
back when she won the Melody of Colors. And Laurice, the 4, finished 3rd in there. When Chloe beat her that day in this race, Make Haste didn't make the lead. When she made the lead, she was a very different horse.
Yeah. And look, they both obviously have some speed, so it's.
I think there'll be 1-2 around the track, one way or the other.
It's not. If they were to switch post positions, I would potentially switch my pick. I like both of them, but I just prefer Chloe because she's drawn outside. I think that's going to go a long way. It gives Irad a lot more options in terms of how he can work out a good trip.
And even though the rails went down on the Mellon turf course yesterday, I didn't see there any bias in the Mellon turf on the races we ran. Thought the turf courses played fairly. I don't disagree. What about Abiento? The problem with her is we're going to go back and take a look at her in the Limestone when she finished 3rd. And I thought she ran really well in here. She had absolutely no speed, and my concern is with a lack of speed and 2 major contenders being the forward horses, a horse like this is compromised.
Yeah, but there's also the possibility, and I don't think that the 2 best riders in the room are going to get into a speed duel, the 1 and the 3. I think that they'll be measured in what they do. But in the event that the horses, the 1,000-pound animals, decide they get in a speed duel, it could set up absolutely perfect for Mark Casse and Abiento. And Casse's, he's got this like look in his eye these last couple of weeks, like he's like he feels loaded, and it seems like he might be.
You know, Laurice is a funny horse because, boy, did she look like she was going to be a good horse when she broke her maiden. She's been a very disappointing runner. Very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just back to the scene of the crime, right? Her only win was here at Saratoga. Maybe she likes it here, but I'm not crazy about some of her performances. And I think if it sets up for a closer, it feels like it sets up for the 6 more than the 5.
You know, I think it's a little bit interesting if you want to bomb in here is Italian Soiree. Because she may just be more of a sprinter. You know, you look at her first turf race in the Natalma, she actually ran pretty well that day. And starting her career out in the turf, she wasn't that bad. Now, obviously, she didn't run well in the Memories of Silver that day. She had a minor excuse, but she wasn't winning. Maybe she's a horse that can handle the turf and now trying a sprint. I thought she was the sneaky horse in this race, if you want a price.
Completely agree. Her 2 turf races and those 2 serious 2-year-old turf races, right? The fact that
She didn't run that badly in those races.
No, and John Terranova wanted to run her there. Now so you know she can handle the grass because she ran well enough there. You know she can sprint. Maybe you put them 2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave her a very long look and think if you're looking for a bomb and you want to put her in as a B or C in your pick 6s, I think she's usable in this race. We'll see what happens. Race number 8. I would try to get through this race, struggle through this race with the horses we have first and second in an order, and you and I saw this race very similarly. Will look like it Sounds of Fun. This is the last dirt race, and I realize this race is somewhat aberrant to the other dirt races, but I got to tell you something. I know it's John Pregman, but first of all, John can win races, and he just has to have the horse. If this horse runs back to this race, I think she's going to win here, and with those connections, you're going to get a square price on a horse whose last dirt race makes her very, very tough to beat in here.
And she's going to get a little kind of ignored because of her last 2 turf races.
Agree.
You know, when you get to a race 3 races down that makes a horse who they are today, I think sometimes you can get a nice little price there. Yeah, she's definitely one that can be included.
I think, though, one of the changes in this race, and she lacks speed, which is a concern, is the scratch of the 8. And that, I think, particularly helps out. I'm sorry, it helps her out. Wait, what's going on here? Where does the pace projector have her? Did I make a mistake?
I don't have it in front
I
of
know
me.
it, I think. I think the pace projector has her last, right? I think it's the 1 and 1A that are going to be sitting on the pace.
I'm going to be there in seconds. The pace projector has it 1A,
Yep,
7.
I miswrote it.
And the 8 is like way out of it.
And I do think that Gallo de Fuego is very much helped by the scratch of the 8.
Yep.
And that might move her up in this race because I think of the 3 horses that are forward, she's the best one.
Yeah, and she's drawn outside too, which
Right.
helps quite a bit. I landed on the 3 months, and you have months in second. This is 2 things. One is the horse just is not broken well, and I'm hoping that they can get that
Well, the
sorted out.
gelding may be part of the reason they've gelded.
Exactly. And the other thing too is I know you like to tease Tom, but I like we said, I think we both respect his opinion. He said yesterday something on the show that kind of stuck with me, is that he felt like the Churchill Downs meet this year was the most competitive that he has ever seen at Churchill Downs.
That means he must have had a bad meet. That's trainer speak for I had a lousy meet.
Because someone's got to look up his stats to see if there's any truth to that. But it does make sense though, right? I mean, as aggressive as Kentucky has been with their purses, it makes for better racing. It's a game where people want to win purses, and I think that these Churchill horses, I think even last year they came up and had some success. I'm going to keep an eye on them to have that success here too this
Swiss
year.
ran very well in her first start, or his first start, and has been sort of disappointing since then. But that was a good effort first time out, and I don't disagree. I've got the horse second. If you look at my thing, I have an arrow saying I could have picked either one of these. You made it easy for me. When I saw you picked it 3-2, there's no reason for me to switch because I just rather have it the other way.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with you. I think this horse is dangerous. Tom does not have great numbers. Percentage terms are pretty good, but his drop downs from maiden special, maiden claimer, the ROI is not that good, but the percentages are over 25%, and I don't disagree. 2-3, and I'm going to move the 7 up because of the scratches in here. We'll see what happens in race number 8. Race number 9 off the turf, and this was the race on the turf that probably had the biggest lean the entire day with Rhetorical. Win or lose, that horse was probably the biggest favorite on today's card, the place they'd lean. Race got a little bit more complicated. You have the number 2 on top in here, Shared Success. Do I have a replay for that horse? Hang on. I might have a replay. No, I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This horse felt like a semi-MTO, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I almost missed it. I was very dismissive, obviously, of the horse that they were running on the turf, and I had to dive back in. That last race was really good.
Well, the last race, if this horse runs back to that last figure, he is a major, major player. The problem is, if he runs back to any other race he's run, he's in a little bit of trouble in here.
Yeah.
That's my concern with him.
And I don't really. I'm trying to find. I tried to poke a hole in the last race. Like, why did he run so fast? 99 time form U.S. figure.
Track was fair that day. I think the rail was good, but I don't think it was a big advantage.
Yeah, I just think he ran well, and I
He
think
did.
I think he ran well 2 back when he broke really slow and was wide all the way around there. I mean, his last 2 dirt races were winning performances.
And maybe the argument is he's really improved since going to Jimmy Bond's barn. So I get the argument for him. I didn't go that way. I think one of the things that's interesting is I think you're going to see him be forward in this race. And this is not a lot of speed in this race, and I didn't get a job. Looks like the speed on paper. But isn't this horse supposed to go?
I would think so. I mean,
Get a job's probably faster. Probably. I don't love Get a Job. David Argona was giving me the case for him. I think he makes a valid case for him as potentially the speed.
do we have who's riding the 6? I mean, I'm sorry. Do we know who's riding Get a Job?
Yes. That he got a very lousy draw. He got that Irad Ortiz guy.
Ugh.
And Dylan Davis is riding Whittington Park.
Got it.
One of us was multitasking and paying more attention during the changes than the other one. I'll let you guys decide who it was. Whittington Park, who I copped out and picked on top. We'll take a look at him winning 2 back. Obviously, there's a concern, the lack of speed in the race. But see, I think that what the learning experience from the last race is don't take this guy out of his game. Because being close last time kind of blew up in their face. And that was also a ridiculously slow pace, and I don't think it will be that slow. If he can get back to an effort like this, he's going to win this race. And he's been good, and I trust in Fernando Abreu, and I just think he's much the horse to beat. But I don't have problems people taking a shot against him. He's not a great horse to take as a 2-1 favorite.
He just needs a little pace. I feel like every race he's ever been in his life, he's just been wide circling. And if he could try to save some sort of ground on the turn and get some pace to close into, I think that could help him quite a bit. But
If he runs his good race, he's going to win.
Yeah.
But he's not the most reliable horse. And, the day we showed, he paid $19, and he's going to be nowhere near that today. I'm going to tell you my goofy horse in here, Neural Network. I know I have a bit of a thing for this horse. I think he's a long shot to throw in somewhere. He does have dirt races that can win. And last time out, I know he got a big pace. I just thought this was a little more interesting race for him. He's my sneaky bomb.
Yeah,
Am
I mean,
totally crazy to have him in there? I keep waiting for him to get back to his good races. Maybe they're never going to come again.
I think he needs the 2 and
A little
the
more help
11
up
to
front.
hook up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at a price, it's.
Rock the Weekend, speaking of horses that need a little bit of help and are better in wet tracks. I know this horse wanted a wet track, but this is a horse that's run some interesting races at times, and I always think he's a little dangerous, but he's also a bit pace dependent as well.
Yeah, they're going to bet that horse off of this performance, and that April 12th, that number just sticks out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah, I have a history with this horse, so I've always kind of liked this horse. So I'm going to include this horse, but I would probably A the 13 and use horses like the 11 as Bs, maybe the 12 more, the 12 and the 6 as Cs. What's going on? I don't want Mighty Atlas. Bless you.
Thank you.
I just don't want. I just feel like this horse. I mean, Wayne, this horse was claimed by Brad Cox, and he couldn't even find a way to get this horse's act back together. I know he can win. He's got consistent figs that are good enough. I've just had it with Mighty Atlas. He's going to beat me here.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't need him in terms of the pick 6. I mean, I think he could get involved and hit the board, but seems like he's going the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's the one taking money in here that I'm going to let beat me. And maybe I'll end up regretting it, but I'm going to let him beat me in this race. Race number 10. I'm sorry this race came off. It's still a decent race, but this was a good race on the turf. Now, listen, maybe the favorite Asbury Park, who's a lot of people would have leaned on this horse well. This horse will end up winning. Let's take a look at Soon to Be King, who I have second and you have on top, and we'll go back to the Gander when he wanted a mile, answering the mile question for him. And I gotta tell you something, he has just been consistently good in his career, and he's really improved in the extent that he puts himself even more in the game now. He's the horse to beat.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I could almost warm to singling if he would have ran just a little bit better last time.
He's a little tough to totally trust,
Yeah.
but he does show up. I mean, I say that, but look at his consistency. But he's not that consistently fast. That's my problem.
Yeah, but you know his race April 13th and March 8th. Those two performances were pretty good, and I trust those. And I wish
ran
he
really
just
well
were
last
just
time.
a little bit better last time.
Yeah, he's just not fast enough for me to make him a major lean here. And Super Times, who I was more interested in the turf, but what is wrong? I mean, this horse ran against River Thames and Grande in his 2 dirt races, and these are pretty good horses that he was running against.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
he's
certainly.
getting significant class relief, and I put him on top.
Yeah, no, I mean
I still think he's a better turf horse.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him on the turf, especially with that not this time, but I still think in this group it's a little hungry. Outside of these two, the 9 and the 15, I think those are 2 horses that are going to be
What
pretty
about
tough. to beat.
Handsome Pants? Isn't he kind of dangerous here? I know that Kenny wanted to try the turf, but I mean, this horse hasn't run badly in some of his dirt races. They got very ambitious with him. I don't like the fact that he never seemed to have gone on to it from 2 to 3. It seems like he was precocious, and it's unusual for Kenny because his horses usually move forward, you know?
Yeah, and he's single digits in his last 3 starts too. I mean, he's odds on, and he loses 4th, beaten 8. He was 5 to 2. He's 3rd, beaten 11. Those 2 are a little concerning, but
He's still run okay, and I don't think he's impossible in here. Pretty capable, who I have 3rd and you have 4th. Jose Ortiz is riding him, by the way, for those like Jonathan that weren't paying attention. I don't think this horse is impossible. The problem with him is he's just been in good fields that's made him look a little bit better. I wavered with him.
yeah, he doesn't break and he doesn't have any speed. That's problematic in off the turf races. Even though he's an MTO, I'm just saying it's problematic in these groups. You want to take advantage of being forward in these spots. I don't need him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does well for it. This is actually good for you, right? Because is Tom on with you later today? That means you'll get rid of him for the last race. I am.
Yes,
on
he is
early.
leaving for the last race.
Yeah, so it's always good when he has a race on during the show to get him off the set, you know? A little more room. I'm kidding. I'm happy to have Tom back, no matter what you think I think. Anyway, it's a pleasure. Pick 6 carryover, 118,000. Race number 5. Okay, quickly, how are we doing for time? We have a second here, a minute here. In the sequence, who is your biggest lean?
In the sequence, the biggest lean would be.
Not to put you on the spot, but
No. I'll get there.
it's not easy.
So I consider a spot where you can just use 2 horses, no backups, nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah, that's fair.
That's a lockup.
That's fair, yeah.
I think in the Coronation Cup, I feel pretty pretty comfortable
The 1
with
and
the
3?
1 and the 3.
Okay.
Nah, I would love to have a little. Your point you made on the 2 got me a little
Isn't
excited.
he a little interesting, that
But
horse?
you could just come back with a smaller ticket to play that. The other thing you can do as well, I just want to say this: if you have a budget with the pick 6, you could play the pick 6 cold and let the pick 5 be your backup ticket, your ABC, because you got the 50-cent denomination. You could work that a little bit better than trying to have like a full run of B's
Well, I
and
think-
C's on the pick 6.
And you and I are both backup ticket guys and such, but there's not a lot of leans in this pick 6,
No.
and the backup tickets are obviously helped by a significant lean in
Yeah.
races. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Jonathan. Great job as always. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. We will match up $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. As we mentioned, 118,000 and change. Pick 6 carryover. Race number 5 of our 10-race card. We have Saturday contest. You'll have until post time tomorrow. $300 buy-in, cash and seat prizes, and you can only play this through Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com/contests for more information. We have a $10,000 hit and split. Opt in over at Naira Bets for that. You'll want to do that. It's the late pick 5 here, as well as the late pick 5 at Colonial. It's today opening day at Colonial.
Sounds right-ish.
By the way, I have just opted in for the hit and split. That's how easy it is for an idiot like me. Where else are we going here? Cross country pick 5, 2 at Monmouth, 3 at Saratoga. Starts at 4:49, roughly. Where else are we going? New York State Pavilion. Check this out. A lot of good stuff going on over there by Gate A in the Family Zone. Jonathan is barred from the Family Zone for the obvious reasons. We also have the show. And there are going to be 5 of these Fridays. We're only on for total 2 hours today, 1 to 2:30 and 6 to 6:30. But I do want people to know there will be a full show from 1 to 5:30 that will be simulcast on YouTube. Go to the Naira YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, put in Naira. It's very easy to find. Most people can stream YouTube on their TVs as well, if not their computers. And while we do apologize and wish we were on, and we appreciate people's support on the show, you can watch it on YouTube.
Little known fact: when I watch the show at home, I watch it on YouTube because I always know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
There's no having to guess. With the
You're a modern guy, though, Jonathan. You know, you're not guys like dinosaurs like me. You know, but I do watch on YouTube as well.
little delay though. If you're
A
watching,
little bit of a delay.
be careful.
Yes.
If Maggie and Acacia are talking before they get to the gate,
Get your bets in.
it might be too late.
Get your bets in a minute or so to go if you're watching on YouTube. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Frank Miramati, the voice of Sarah. I saw Frank last night.
So did I.
Stopped by to say hi. Yeah, it was a big moment. I think there were a lot of people in the restaurant pretty excited to have the voice of Saratoga in there. I think if somebody knew who he was, they would have been incredibly excited. He's up next for the reprise and scratches and changes. Have a great day.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. The track is fast. We are off the turf with the exception of race 7, the Coronation Cup. And for that race, the turf rated good. Off the turf for all the other races today. Here are the changes. In the first, started the early pick 5, scratch 2 because the night. No changes in the second. Early pick 4 starts with race 2. There is a pick 5 that starts with the third. No changes. Race 4, off the turf, 1 mile on the dirt. No show, no trifecta, no superfecta wagering. Scratch, 1, collaboration. 1A, red burgundy. 2, Carmen's Candy Jar. 2B, slightly busy. 3, snowy evening. 4, Bobby M's Girl. Jockey change for the 5, Burnt Again. Make it Ricardo Santana Jr. Scratch 6, Brock Nardini. Scratch 7, Nolita. Jockey change for 8, Crystal Air to Jose Gomez. Scratch 11, Racing Colors. And scratch 12, Malou. Scratch 1, 1A, 2, 2B, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11, and 12 out of the fort. No try, super, or show wagering. Pick 6 today. Nice carryover of 118,000 on races 5 through 10. No changes in the first leg. The 6th race, off the turf. Note that this one goes to 7 furlongs. 2-year-old races turn back in distance on this sort of surface change to 7 furlongs. Scratch 1, British Invasion, part of the entry. The 7th is the Coronation Cup, the turf rated good. Scratch 5, Spirited Boss. That's the only scratch in thus far. Race 8, number 4, Dark Devil runs in a cheek piece again. Scratch 5, Klimt Master. Scratch 8, World Fair. The 9th is off the turf, a mile on dirt. Scratch 1, Rhetorical, as well as 1A Set. 2B, Rabaha, part of the entry. Scratch 3, Seaver, as well as 4, Baron of Sealand. Scratch 5, Slap in the Face. Scratch 9, Laurel Valley. Scratch 10, Born Dancer. Note that 11, Get a Job, the jockey Arad Ortiz Jr., and number 13, Whittington Park, make the jockey Dylan Davis. Race 9, scratch 1-1A, 2B3, 4, 5, 9, and 10 with those two jockey changes. And the 10th and final will be at a mile on dirt. Scratch the following runners. Scratch 1, Papiamento. Scratch 2, Asbury Park. Scratch 3, Simulate. Scratch 5, Assertiveness, as well as 7, Fond Farewell. 8, Hands of Time. Note that number 10 is a Ridgeling. Scratch 11, Straight Cash, as well as 12, King of Ashes, and 13, 13 Colonies. Jockey change for 14, Pretty Capable, make it Jose Ortiz. Scratch 16, Jerry's out. Race 10, 1 mile, main track. Scratch 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, and 16. Enjoy your day at Saratoga Racecourse. It's day 2. Pick 6 carryover. Starts with the 5th race. And that carryover today is more than $118,000. They'll be at the gate for the first of 10 in 24 minutes.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
The New York Racing Association welcomes you to Saratoga Racecourse. Your safety is our primary concern. If it becomes necessary to evacuate Saratoga Racecourse, please follow these guidelines to walk calmly out and away from the 1863 Club, the apron, the main building, and the backyard. Those in the 1863 Club basement area will go up the center staircase or the loading dock area staircase. Patrons and employees on the first floor use the loading dock stairs or exit out the main lobby exits or out the front doors. Turn right toward the loading dock area or turn left to the horse path and proceed out onto the track. Those on the second floor will walk down the main staircase and out of the building or use the pedestrian bridge over to the main building. Those on the third floor will go down the center staircase or the west end staircase down to the loading dock area and continue out and away from the building. If you're located trackside on the clubhouse apron, on the dining porch, or the grandstand apron, walk forward onto the track through the emergency exit trackside gates. Turn right or left and continue along the outside rail to the exits. As you're exiting, please be mindful of any horses that may be in the area. Those in the interior clubhouse and grandstand areas will exit out into the park areas in the rear of the building and continue out through gates A and B for the grandstand and gates C and D for the clubhouse area. Those located in the second floor clubhouse box seat areas, left or right of the winner's circle, will walk down the nearest unobstructed staircase to the apron area and proceed out the trackside gates onto the track. Turn right and continue along the outside rail to gate 10. Those in the club terrace dining and standing areas will utilize the metal staircases at the rear of the building down to the ground level and continue out gate C. Once in a stairwell, should you encounter smoke or other obstructions, leave the stairwell immediately and proceed to another stairwell. Those in the first and second level turf terrace dining areas west half will proceed down the west end fire escape to the ground level and continue out gate D. Those in first and second level turf terrace dining, east half, will take the east end staircase onto the clubhouse roof, then continue down to the ground level and out gate C. Third and fourth level turf terrace dining, west half, will utilize the rear or west staircase down to the ground level and proceed out gate D.